Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello learners, welcome back to the course on AI in Human Resource Management. Today we move to the third lecture of the fourth module where we'll be looking into one of the most regular activity any HR role has, that is HR administration and its application. So we'll try to look into those instances where AI is aiding HR administration application. I'm Dr. Abraham Cyril Issac. I'm an assistant professor at the School of Business, Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati. Now, when you talk about day-to-day HR and HR administration generally, it looks into operational activities of HR. It takes care of the relevant workforce management, what is happening, maybe it is with respect to the payroll management or maybe in a very normative way, how the employees are being motivated, how they are aligned with company values, etc. It may be related to the training and development needs of the individuals, what the onboarding orientation schedule of the organization is. So let's understand HR administration first and understand how specifically AI is enabling HR administration application. So when you look into HR administration specifically, as we have already seen, it is more about handling the day-to-day operational aspects of the workforce. Now, when you look into HR administration, you will understand that it can have a wide range of activities like recruitment, it can have onboarding, it can have payroll processing, it can have things like benefits management and ensuring even the compliance with the labor laws. Now, efficient HR administration ensures that employees are typically motivated, they are aligned with the company values. Please recollect the strategic intent discussion we had where the individual objectives needs to be in alignment with the organizational goals or organizational objectives for that matter. So when you look into the HR administration or HR administrators particularly, they are responsible for formalizing agreements, they are responsible for decisions made by other departments, like let's say for recruitment, for training, for strategic planning, etc. So they play a very critical role in implementing organizational goals. Let's look into this case. For instance, implementing a structured onboarding program, let's say with 30, 60 or 90-day checklist for new hires. So this ensures that the new employees have clear objectives and support during their initial few months. So leading to better retention rates, quicker integration into the company culture, etc. will be the add-on benefits that we get when we have a close watch and a close help or monitoring with the new workforce or about the new workforce. Now, when you look into importance of HR administration application, effective HR administration plays a critical role in maximizing employee productivity and aligning workforce management with organizational goals. When you look into the key reasons why HR administration is crucial, we can definitely point out that employee motivation is particularly important. We talk about properly managed HR practices that lead to higher levels of employee engagement or satisfaction for that matter, which can enhance productivity undoubtedly. So this is one of the critical reasons why HR administration is crucial. Another could be the legal compliance. When you look into staying compliant with labor laws, reduces the risk of legal disputes and associated costs. So when you are looking into legal disputes, definitely it is warranting some associated costs which you can definitely prevent with the HR administration application. When you look into talent attraction and retention is another reason. A well-structured HR administration system actually helps attract top talent and retain valuable employees by creating a positive work environment. We also have reasons like data-driven decision making by analyzing the HR matrix allows organizations actually to make very critical informed decisions regarding workforce management, regarding strategic planning and whatever need of the organization be. It also have an element of cost efficiency. Streamlining HR processes through automation actually leads to a significant savings in cost, allowing resources to be redirected towards growth initiatives. Now, when you look into the HR administration application, let's dissect this from the perspective of different areas. We'll try to understand the scope and the focus and responsibilities associated with that. So, let's look into the differences per se. When you're looking into the first one, which is HR administration per se, you see that the scope is operational and administrative tasks relating to managing employees. This is the critical scope. The focus will be more reactive, more ensuring smooth daily operations and compliance. I'll take a moment here to explain reactive. Many a time we don't plan for the exigencies, or many a time we, as an organization, you must have observed in your organization also, most of the focus is reactive. It should have been proactive, it should have been pragmatic, but again, when there is a backlash, when there is something to be done, HR administration interferes, and that is where the things become reactive. It has a dimension of being reactive. Again, the responsibilities can be anything from payroll to benefits, it could be including the fringe benefits, onboarding, compliance, even record management to a certain extent. When you look about the second area, HRM, its broader function encompassing various aspects of workforce management is what the scope of HRM is, as we all know. Again, the focus would be on strategically aligning HR practices with organizational goals, what we understand as strategic intent to a certain extent. The responsibilities would include talent acquisition, employee relations, training and development, performance management, and compensation. Then we have the third, HRD, specifically HRD, which focuses on developing employee skills and competencies. The focus would be long term. The focus would be investing in the employee growth for organizational success. You have career development, you have training, you have succession planning as the responsibilities of HRD. So, I am just trying to underscore the HR administration first. When you are looking into administration management, this is yet another significant aspect. The scope includes overseeing general organizational operation beyond just the mere HR functions. It focuses on broad managing processes across the department. So, this is vital when it comes to administration management. Logistics will be a responsibility, office management would be another responsibility. So, basically facilities management, administrative support, a host of responsibilities. So, it is not just the HR, it is going beyond. Processes across the departments, as I already mentioned, is the focus of administration management. When you look into something very specific like HR generalist, HR generalist is all about, it manages various HR functions across the organization. The focus is versatile, it is handling multiple aspects of HR, and it can have a lot of responsibilities right from recruitment, policy implementation, employee relations, benefits, etc. You also have HR specialist, the scope being specific area within human resource, but that said, the focus would be to deep expertise in a particular function. So, see the responsibilities as developing specialized programs, conducting targeted recruitment, analyzing compensation structures, addressing complex employee relation issues, etc. are all pertain to the HR specialist. Now, let's understand the functions of HR administration application. Now, when you look into HR administration application, its function, what we understand is that the employee data management happens to be the first and the foremost function of HR administration application. HR administration application centralizes employee information, allowing HR professionals to maintain an accurate and up-to-date record. Please note it includes things like personal details, job titles, performance evaluations, and even payroll data for that matter. A centralized database simplifies access to information, enhances data accuracy, and even supports compliance with legal requirements. When you look into recruitment and onboarding, you have applications that streamline the recruitment process by automating job postings, applicant tracking, and interview scheduling for that matter, which is all about recruitment and onboarding. You talk about recruitment and onboarding, you see that they facilitate a smooth onboarding experience for new hires by providing a structured maybe workflow that guide them through necessary paperwork, different training schedules related to them, and introduction to team members. So this efficiency typically helps organizations attract and retain top talent. When you talk about payroll processing, you have significant HR administration application being outlined here, which automates payroll calculations, ensuring timely and accurate salary disbursements while managing deductions for certain taxes and benefits associated. So by integrating payroll with time tracking and attendance data, these systems typically reduce the errors and save time for HR staff. When you look into benefits and administration, you see these applications manage employee benefits program, including things like health insurance, retirement plans, and leave entitlements. What we understand is that they enable employees to enroll in benefits, make changes during open enrollment periods, and access information about their benefits easily. This functionality actually, typically enhances employee satisfaction by typically providing clarity and accessibility regarding their compensation packages for that matter. You also have, aspects related to performance management as one of the functions of HR administration application. You have HR administration applications support performance management process by enabling goal setting, continuous feedback, and performance evaluations. So they help actually to track the employee progress against some goals, objectives that are being set, facilitate quite regular check-ins between managers and employees, and assist in identifying training needs, training requirements, or areas for improvement totally. So what we understand with respect to another function would be what we have discussed in detail about the compliance with the laws, labor laws of the region. Ensuring this compliance with labor laws and regulations is a very critical function of HR administration application, as I already underscored. Please note these systems provide actually tools for tracking compliance related activities, generating reports for audits, and keeping HR policies updated in accordance with changing legislation. So this reduces the risk of legal issues and associated penalties. We also have time and attendance tracking. HR administration application often include features for monitoring employee attendance. We have issues with respect to managing leave request or aspects that actually attract that, or aspects that actually tackle that, and even tracking the working hours of individuals. So this functionality, if you ask me, typically helps organizations manage workforce availability effectively while integrating the attendance data with payroll systems for accurate compensation. You have employee self-service portals. Many HR administration applications include the self-service portals where employees can access their personal information, the request time off, view pay stubs, and update contact details independently. So what happens is that this specific feature empowers employees to take charge of their HR related tasks while reducing the administrative workload on HR staff. So we have looked into the functions of HR administration application. This was what the key theme of today's lecture was. Now let's look into the benefits of HR administration application. So when you are trying to understand the HR administration, its applications, how it has been enhanced, You have to understand how it is benefiting. Benefits with respect to efficiency, enhanced employee experience, employee engagement for that matter. You have data being properly calculated and critically analyzed. You have the increased accuracy for that matter. You have certain cost savings associated with your HR administration applications being making things standardized and streamlined. You have a certain eye on the data security, because now things are not handled by merely the human beings or the human element interaction, or human interaction is very less when it comes to these things, and the possible scalability. So these are some of the benefits. Let's look into that in detail now. When you look into the benefits of HR administration, as I mentioned, increased efficiency happens to take the front seat. Automations of routine tasks specifically reduces administrative burdens on HR staff, allowing them to actually have these strategic initiatives. When you look into accuracy part, the improvement is there because centralized data management actually minimizes the errors associated with manual data entry and enhances data integrity. You have, employee experience being enhanced, and this is because of the self-service features that empower employees to manage their own information, improving satisfaction and engagement totally. You have a clear indication with respect to cost savings. Streamlining processes I mentioned, like standardizing things, leads to reduced operational costs. That's a no-brainer, allowing organizations to allocate resources more effectively. You have critical implications in terms of the data security that are the benefits of that. Advanced security features protect sensitive employee information from unauthorized access. And I would say the most important, last but not the least, would be scalability. Many HR applications can grow with the organization, accommodating increasing numbers of employees and expanding functionalities as required. Now let's quickly look into some of the popular HR administration applications. Again, some of them we have discussed in the previous modules already, but I like to refresh it. Some of the new ones I like to introduce. The first one, Bamboo HR, which we have already seen. It is all about employee tracking, payroll management. You have performance management applications also associated with that, and even ATS, applicant tracking system, also is facilitated by Bamboo HR. You have Bamboo HR as first option, then you have TriNet Cenefits. When you are looking into Cenefits, you have payroll processing, compliance tracking, benefits administration as some of the key functional aspects of Cenefits. You have Gusto, which we have seen. Gusto is all about compliance assistance, payroll processing, employee benefits management, as I discussed in my previous module. Feel free to go and explore this, but again, there are some trial versions. I will try to, I'll definitely recommend you to go for a trial version, look into that, how effective it is, again, how useful it is for you, what is your actual requirement. Let's say you have something like Namely. Namely looks into the time of tracking, employee surveys, payroll, etc. as part of these applications or these calculations and metrics. You have KissFlow. KissFlow looks into automation of onboarding process, leave requests, and even exit interviews are being facilitated by KissFlow. You have ADP, Workforce Now, which looks into the time and attendance tracking and typically payroll processing. You have Orange HRM. I'm giving you a plethora of options. You can actually go, as I mentioned, explore things, whichever is suitable for you, whichever is right in terms of the resources you have or the cost parameters. You can always opt for that. And also please look into the key functional areas. So my intention here is to match each tool with the necessary functional area so that you get an understanding what is required and which one to go for. You have Orange HRM, which looks into performance evaluation and employee records, and you have this Deputy, which looks into scheduling, time tracking, and payroll integration for that matter. Again, when you look into the tools, you have to also look into the best practices for effective HR administration. The first and the foremost I would like to put in is the regular compliance audits. Regularly perform audits to assess and update HR administration practices. ensuring that they align with the evolving labor laws and regulations. We just concluded a session on labor welfare and industrial relations, which I had run in the previous semester. You'll see that in case of India, they have coming up with clear labor codes. So there are some evolving labor laws. So again, if your organization needs to stand the test of the time, it needs to actually sink in with the present day law structure. So that is where these regular compliance audits play a crucial role. Maintaining compliance actually minimizes legal risks and safeguards employees' right. You also have some employees self-service portals. It offers employees these portals that allow them to update their personal details, request leave, and even view pay stubs. So these employee self-service portals typically give employees more control while also lightening the administrative load on HR teams. It also has a leverage in terms of automated reporting. Leverage HRMS tools to produce automated reports on HR metrics. These reports provide essential insights into workforce patterns, enabling organizations to make data-driven decisions and typically to develop a more effective HR strategy. You have some data security measures, establishing strong data security protocols to actually safeguard the sensitive employee information. So it's essentially to comply, if you are a multinational company, you have to look into the data protection regulations like maybe it is GDPR or HIPAA for that matter. Protecting data ensures both trust and legal compliance. So this is what I wanted to underscore. Not only trust, but also legal compliance. So many a time we tend to see, or we are myopic in seeing just one of this. Either some of the organizations go in for this centralized data management for legal compliance for that matter with respect to, so generally we go in for data security measures with respect to legal compliance sometimes, or some organizations specifically go in for increasing the trust. But please note that it does both the things. It actually protects data, ensuring both trust and legal compliance. You also have some centralized data management as one of the best practices. Keep a centralized system for employee records. This typically allows the HR administrators to efficiently access and even manage essential HR data, ensuring improved accuracy and easier accessibility. You should have a clear-cut, employee feedback mechanism. Create channels for employees to actually share feedback on HR administration process. This input can actually highlight areas needing improvement, enhancing employee satisfaction, and optimizing the procedures. So let's now look into a typical case study. This will give you a practical implication of what is exactly happening in terms of HR administration application. This is with respect to streamlining payroll management at Hyatt Clothing. So let me introduce you to the topic. The background is something like this. Hyatt Clothing is a seasonal shirt manufacturer based in South India, employs over 300 workers and produces around 2,000 shirts per day under the brand Expose. Partnered with top clothing brands, the company sought an efficient way to actually manage the payroll, employee data, tax deductions, and attendance, because not only the payroll management, but it also tried to have a look into the employee data, tax deductions, and even attendance for that matter. So the client requirements were pretty clear. When you are looking into the Hyatt specifically, it was all about managing the monthly salary calculations, the tax deductions, including the ESI and PF for that matter, and the attendance tracking. Handling planned and unplanned leave was client requirement. Overtime had to be calculated, and other attendance variables need to be also calculated. You have to have providing, salary compensation. Another requirement was to provide salary consumption reports by designation, by sort of department and multiple branches. The solution was interesting. I-Square Business Solution Private Limited. This is developed a fully customized payroll management system actually for Hyatt Clothing did a lot of these activities, including, let's say, salary calculation based on hours worked, attendance and leave, based on different aspects with respect to the how employees are coming in, going, their leave patterns, etc. Salary calculation was done. Tax deductions and compliance management was taken care of. Employee profile creation and updates in a secure cloud-based system ensured a lot of privacy and security. Attendance tracking integrated with biometrics for seamless payroll processing was yet another important aspect. Now, when we look into the result specifically, what we see from this case study is that it streamlined payroll processing, eliminating manual spreadsheets. So that was a biggest relief. Even today, we see organizations juggling through manual spreadsheets, which is taking a lot of toll in terms of the employee work hours. You have reduced payroll processing time and improved accuracy. Another significant result was the secure data storage with automatic backups in the cloud, so preventing any sort of data loss. And finally, it improved the financial management and time savings for the HR department. So what was the impact? Hyatt improved payroll efficiency, budget control. To a certain extent, it was a simplified budget control, improved accuracy in salary and tax calculation. The switch from manual spreadsheets to the automated payroll system helped save time and energy while ensuring smooth operations across multiple branches. So when you look into typical case studies like Hyatt, it shows that things which otherwise required a lot of time, certain things which required a lot of cost or involved a lot of people, had been streamlined, had been actually standardized, and the requirement in terms of the time, cost, labor, or whatever be the other extraneous requirements were quite low. So please note, ladies and gentlemen, that AI is facilitating the HR administration altogether. AI is actually improving the efficiency. It is looking into the data privacy. It is taking care of the data security. And please note, real-time update into the cloud-based system is actually ensuring the data safety and real-time data backup. So this is what AI is doing today towards HR administration. We had a exhaustive discussion regarding that. I hope you would have some great takeaways from this lecture. See you all with another topic in next lecture. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.